trials of the modern era is atheism, which is the denial of God's existence. In today's scientific age, there is no shortage of people who completely deny the existence of Allah and evaluate everything based on logical reasoning. They claim that there is no creator or manager of this universe. However, let me tell you that this trial is not new. Its history is as old as the history of Islam. So, in today's video from Miracle Allah posed some questions to Muslims. He asked what existed before Allah and who created Allah. At that time, when even great scholars were in confusion, Allah used an 11-year-old child to humiliate and silence this man. We will tell you how this 11-year-old child answered those seemingly difficult questions. Ladies and gentlemen, our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, knew that such trials would arise in the future. According to a narration in Sahih Muslim by Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "People will keep asking questions, and they will ask, if Allah created everything, then who created Allah?" Whoever encounters such a question should respond, "I believe in Allah." Ladies and gentlemen, this is an incident from centuries ago. Satan, taking the form of an atheist, entered a market in Baghdad and began raising such questions. He called out loudly, "O Muslims, you believe that Allah is the creator of everything and the source of all knowledge. So, has He created the answer to this question and given you the knowledge, what existed before Allah and who created Allah?" This atheist did not stop at just one question. To test the faith of Muslims, he posed many questions. He said, "O Muslims, tell me, you believe that your Lord sees everything. Then, in which direction is His face turned? You believe in the existence of your Lord. What is the structure of His existence? What is He made of? You also believe that good deeds in this life will lead to paradise, where there will be no need for bodily functions. How is that possible? And you believe that those who do evil will be punished with the fire of hell. According to your belief, jinn are created from fire, so how can fire harm them? How can they be punished by fire?" This atheist would repeat his questions daily in the market of Baghdad. Scholars would come and present references from the Quran, but he refused to accept any evidence from the Quran. He demanded logical answers to prove the existence of God. Even great scholars and debaters were left confused. One day, as usual, the atheist was loudly repeating his questions in the market. This time, an 11-year-old child stepped forward from the crowd. Addressing the atheist, the child said, "O heretic, tell me your questions, and I will answer them." At first, the atheist thought the child was joking, but when he saw the seriousness on the child's face, he began asking his questions. He said, "Tell me, what existed before Allah, and who created Him?" The child smiled calmly and confidently replied, "I will answer your question, but first, count backward from 10 to 1. The atheist began counting and stopped at 1. The child asked him to continue counting beyond 1. Frustrated, the atheist said, "There is nothing before 1. It is followed by 0. The child smiled and said, "If there can be nothing before 1 in counting, then how can there be anything before the One who is unique and eternal? He is the beginning and the end. Nothing existed before Him." Hearing the child's logical response, the crowd erupted in joy, and the atheist was left speechless. The atheist then asked, "You say that God sees everything. In which direction is His face turned?" The child paused for a moment, and a smug smile appeared on the atheist's face, as if mocking the Muslim's knowledge. But little did he know, the child was organizing his response. The child replied, If you enter a dark room and light a candle, in which direction will the light face? The atheist said, "The light will spread in all directions." The child said, "If this is the case with a worldly, artificial light, then what about Allah, who is the light of the heavens and the earth? Can his light not encompass everything in every direction?" The crowd cheered again at the child's logical answer. The atheist asked another question. "You believe that Allah exists. What is his structure? Is he as hard as iron, as fluid as water, or like smoke rising upwards?" The child replied, "Have you ever been with someone who is close to death, experiencing the pangs of death?" The atheist said, "Yes." The child continued, "That person was speaking and moving before, but after death he became still. What caused this change?" The atheist said, "His soul left his body." The child asked, "Describe the soul. Is it as hard as iron, as fluid as water, or like smoke rising upwards?" The atheist replied, "I cannot describe it because I cannot see it leaving the body." The child said, "If you cannot see the soul, which is subtle and delicate, then how can you expect to see the creator of that soul? If you believe in the soul without seeing it, why do you not believe in its creator?" The atheist fell silent, and in a subdued tone he asked his final question. "You believe that in paradise people will eat and drink, but will not excrete. How is that possible?" The child replied, "For 9 months we live in our mother's womb, eat and drink, but do not excrete. If this is possible in the womb, why can it not be possible in the pure and clean environment of paradise?" The atheist then asked, "You say that jinn will be punished in hellfire, but they are created from fire. How can fire harm them?" The child picked up some soil and threw it at the atheist's face. The atheist, enraged, asked, "Why did you do that?" The child replied, "If something made of soil can hurt you, who are also made of soil, then why can fire not harm jinn, who are made of fire?" The crowd lifted the child onto their shoulders, praising him for his answers, and the atheist's trial came to an end. Historical records suggest that this incident is attributed to 2 personalities, Imam Jafar al-Sadiq and Imam Abu Hanifa. While the identity of the child remains uncertain, it is clear that he was a person of great knowledge, and his answers still serve as logical arguments against atheists today. We end this video